So guys, today I have 5 altcoins that I will analyze for you guys. So today we will go over Solana, Helium, Solgenic, Cardano and Sandbox. So let's start with Solana. We had this clearly strong uptrend. It was a clear outperformer this cycle. It's really crazy what Solana did this cycle, but we really need to but we need to stop being so. But I think this is coming to an end. Let's say it like this. So if we look at my Elliott Wave count, we have two possibilities. And I have to say, Solana is a really clear chart. Like there are no many charts that have such a clear Elliott Wave count. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or the second possibility is this 1, 2 belongs to this 3 and 4. And in that case, we'd have here then still a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we still need to look to finish this wave 5, but this has low probabilities because of what's happening here then. Because you need to be able to count a 5-wave move then inside here. Because if you have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, that's clear, that's a 5-wave move. But if you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then how do you count this as a 5-wave move? That's a problem. Because you can count here a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then you still need to count this here. So that's a little bit problematic. But you can even make it possible. But I would say this is the clear count, and also we want to stay conservative. Because if you're too bullish, you will wreck yourself. So if we then go inside this green wave 5, we then have these possibilities. So if I go into the daily, we would preferably end this corrective structure at this low. Yes, this is the actual low of the structure, but if I go into the 4-hour chart, it's not so easy to count here an impulse. So preferably, this is the low, and then you start from here. Of course, you can count this also from here, and then have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, but again, you stay conservative. So in this count, we have in white a 1, 2, then inside the white we have 3, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is all fine. So the problem with this scenario becomes, while time passes, the wave 4. The wave 4 becomes really large and also extends further to the downside. So once this invalidation level here, the dotted red line, gets hit, this scenario is invalidated. And we need to look at other scenarios. So another scenario would then be this here, where we are looking at a diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this would be then you 1, 2, looking for wave 2. Actually, the 0.5 is already hit, so that's a pretty good target. But then there are two possibilities. Either this finished 5-wave move to the upside marks the end of this whole bull run for Solana, because then you would have an impulse to the upside and could finish your green wave 5. The problem with that is, I mean, we are hopefully seeing an alt season 2025. So there's not great possibilities that this is actually the low and the high. So I think we will take out this high. Yes, we will. So we need to look at more probable scenarios, and this is by counting this as a 1, 2, then see another 3, 4, 5 to the upside, and then finish your 5, 5. That's holds high probabilities in my opinion. So again, yes, we have the target box up here, down here. We hit at the 0.5. We can go down to the 0.618. That's all possible. And if we then look, here, at this range, we also have the point of control and the value area high that comes nicely into this target box, as you can see. So the value area high comes right here, so that's more confidence that this target box is going to hold. So yes, and another possibility is like this lows, there holds more probability this is corrected structure to the upside due to the low time frame analysis. So we take out this low, probably come down, test this area high, and there's a perfect buying opportunity in my opinion. So that's it for Solana. We're still looking for upside, but the huge moves are already over. Like, don't expect a 10x from here. Please don't. It's not going to happen. So then let's go with Helium. I'm going to say Helium has a more bullish side. So if we start with the higher time frames, as always, we here have this impulse to the upside, which is pretty clear. But again, preferably we end the corrected structure at this low, because you cannot really count this as a impulse to the upside, a smaller three-wave move. So this is probably part of the corrective structure, and we're looking to end this corrective structure up down here. So we can count this clean impulse to the upside, which is all good. So we had this clean impulse to the upside, a very nice wave too. If we take a look at the Fibonacci target, it hit perfectly the golden pocket area here, 0.5 to 0.8, so that was a great buying opportunity for anyone who catch that. And now we are looking at this structure here. So if we have this white 1, 2, we are going for a big wave 3. So inside this wave 3, we also need to count an impulse. So there is a possibility, I have it here, there is a possibility to count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside. So inside the white wave 3, we then have this green impulse to the upside. So what we need to look at here is this move to the upside. Of course, if you have then here a 1, 2, 3, you would expect big extension, but we actually hit this high, which means the only possibility to count this as a bullish scenario is to count this as another wave front in white. So we then have a very bullish count, 1, 2, 1, 2, inside of a big 1, 2. We will see a big wave 3 extension. So the other scenario, wait, I have it here, would then be this scenario, where you still have this 1, 2. So this 1, 2 is pretty clear. We have a clean impulse to the upside. But the thing is then with this wave 2, so there is a possibility to count this as a WXY of a wave A, ABC, and a wave B. And then you would need to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a wave C of an expanding flat. So here is the target area for an expanding flat, which got hit perfectly to the point. And we are now approaching the target area of the wave C of an expanding flat, which is the most probable area is this 1.618 to the 1.618. But you also can go only to here, to the 1.236 to the 1.382. That's also a target area which holds lower probabilities. So if that happens, yeah, that's a pretty good buying opportunity. But also, if you look at this scenario, and we have here this one to the downside, then you could also expect a wave 3. So once this scenario lowers in probabilities, is when we hit the 886. So if you take a look at the 886, if you don't know what it does, so for a bullish scenario, you always want to count an impulse to the upside. And an impulse starts with a wave 1, 2. So this wave 2 preferably does not hit the 886. But a target for an 886 is a wave B or a wave X. And a wave B or a wave X are parts of a corrected structure. And a corrected structure always goes against the trend. So if we had an 86, probabilities are higher to take out a slow. And for that, there is only one possibility left, the 1 A, B, C flat scenario. So take a look at that. If we had an 86, yeah, I would be looking to take out this low and come into this target area I just discussed with you. But again, if you have doubt, zoom out. The higher time frames look really bullish. We have this implicitly upside, we're looking for a wave 3 extension. And if you look at wave 3, we can always measure it with the Fibonacci extension tool. So if you come up and measure the wave 3 where it could go, it usually goes to the 1.618. Can also go just until the 1.227, but if you are seeing alt season in 2025, it can go way beyond that. So if we measure it from here to the 6.8, that's a 1600% move. That's crazy. And that's for more safer coin, literally. So this is for helium. So let's go on and look at Sologenic. So I have posted my scenarios on Sologenic on X before, but I think Sologenic has a really clear count. So I'm not talking about all of this price action, what happened in the bear market. I'm only looking at this year right now, because this is the only thing that is relevant. So if we take a look at this, from the low, there are only two possibilities. Count it as a triple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, look at this clean price action. You don't see this often. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Without any complications. It's very clear. The second possibility is to count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are seeing a wave 2. So the possibility to count this as a finished impulse holds lower probabilities is because of your wave 1 here. Because then you would need to count it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of wave 1. But we have overlap between the wave 4 and wave 1. So the only possibility to count it is in a diagonal. But as you can see, this diagonal would then be an expanding diagonal. And expanding diagonals are very rare, holds low probabilities, and yeah, unless any other scenario fails, you shouldn't look at expanding diagonals. So that's why I'm looking at the triple 1, 2, which holds the most probabilities for now. So we have the target area for the wave 4. If we take it from, we are looking at the yellow count right now, because we're looking at the yellow wave 4. So if we take on, yeah, we hit the 382, really good. But I think we can go lower to the 0.5. If I remove the other Fibonacci's. So, because we have other Fibonacci confluences here. This is a pretty good target box inside this big order block, not to mention. We have an order block here. And previous ranges also, and every time hold support lines. So because I hold this Fibonacci retracement, I have taken like this, as you can see. Right, I will put on the lines so you can see it better. Exactly. Because you need to count in a corrective structure in here, and it's always a 3-wave move. So you can count the 3-wave move and measure the third wave, which would be anywhere down here, where the 0.5 comes in. So that's a nice area for me, an area of interest, but also just a order block here is an area of interest for me. And that's again a clear count. This move to the downside is clearly corrective. Like there's nothing impulsive about it. Only overlap, no clean moves to the downside. So Sologenic is for me a pretty clear trade. Can put your stop loss. Yeah. below this order block. Then if you want to measure a wave 5, you put it from the high to the wave 4 low, if this is the low, if not, it's not. And this is your most common target area. So if you target this order block, it's a 400% move. Wait, then we have to count as wave 5 also. So from here to the 156, it's a 250%, and from here it's a 430%. That's really good. Honestly, that's really good. So let's take a look at Cardano. I've posted yesterday about Cardano, but I didn't post the most bullish scenario. So that's what I want to show you again. But let's first start with the more highest probability scenario. So this here is at the moment the highest probability scenario. When we then count this somewhere as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Clear input to the upside. In a wave 1, looking for a wave 2. No, that's two possibilities. You count this wave 2 to the downside as a WXY, double zigzag. Pretty common, pretty normal. And then you would have here a 1, 2, 3, looking for a wave 4, wave 5 to the upside to finish the wave 3, 4, 5. That's the highest probability move. Another possibility is to not count this wave to the downside as a WXY double zigzag, but to end the wave 2 in yellow. Let me show you. To end this wave 2 down here. That would be the most bullish scenario. Because then you would have a 1, 2, and because of the overlap of the wave 1 and the wave 4, you cannot count it as an impulse to the upside, which is the most bullish scenario actually. I will explain you why. Because then you would need to count this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. And this is where we actually can see Cardano taking all-time highs easy and probably even go to like $13 or something. But again, that's not the highest probability scenario. You always look at the highest probability scenario, and that's discount because of the corrected structure. It's much easier to end this corrected structure with a double zigzag to the downside than with any complicated forcing moves to the downside. Like you would have to force a counter. You would never want to force a counter here. That's the most obvious counter to the downside, so we will take this. Then we'd have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we go into the daily, you could also think about why I'm not counting this as a double 1, 2. So the reason is simply, I think you can already see it if you're an experienced counter. This here is an ABC to the upside. You have here a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a 5-wave move, can either be wave 1 or A or wave C. But if you take a context, this is wave 1, 2, 3, you need to go for 5. So it's the only possibility is an ABC. Again here, this is an ABC to the upside. This is not a 1, 2, 3. So you would need to look at the 1 flat in wave 2. So it have a 1, then a flat, possibly in a wave W, a wave X, then here wave Y. So we had a 1, 2. That's it. That's the only way you can count this, honestly. So there's a clear input to the upside in a wave 1, 2, 3, looking to finish the wave 4. Preferably it takes a little bit more time because of the length of wave 2, but always think about the rule of alternation. Wave 2 is long and complex, so wave 4 should be short and sharp, which you're actually seeing right now. A sharp move to the other downside. It could be that we see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside right now, but we could see this break. So Cardano is also a pretty clear trend. We're looking for more upside to come. Of course, the invalidation would then be to visit this level again. If that happens, yeah, then we would need to look for this wave 2 to move to the right side, which would be actually very bearish. So if we then look at Sandbox, for the last coin for today, let's look at the daily chart. So we have this count to the upside. Again, this is an ABC to the upside. The only way to count this as a wave 1 is behind the wave 1, 2. But this looks even more terrible than a Cardano, so I will simply leave it and count this move to the upside. Because this is yet not finished, probably. Because there's only one possibility, actually. This needs to be wave 1. This cannot be a wave 3, 4 because of the overlap between 1 and 4. So this needs to be another 1, 2. But this 1, 2 needs a 3 and 4. The only possibility to count this as a 3 and 4 is by doing this. You cannot put this as 3, 4 and then somehow put this as 3, 4, 5. No, it's not possible. You need to count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's also one possibility to count this as a wave 5, so this. So you are stuck with this count. And as a bullish count. So you need to count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, you always need a bearish scenario, which would then be an ABC. But that has low probabilities because of the length of wave C in comparison of wave 1. Look at this wave 1 and then look at this wave C. Not great probabilities. So we are looking at that unfinished impulse. Of course, probabilities for this lowers as time passes because of the length of wave 4. If you take a look at the related time Fibonacci's. Yeah, and this correction is already from the low 5 times longer than wave 2, which is not great probabilities. But again, this is the count we are stuck with. We don't have any other options right now. So we will have to trade this. So we're looking at a wave 4, probably finish it somewhere here. A validation would then be hitting this high again. But alone hitting the 618 for a wave 4 lowers the probability by far. A wave 4 normally shouldn't hit the 618 because that would be a too deep retracement. So actually you could look at an invalidation once you hit the 618, but then the other thing is what scenario have we left. So yes, that's it. I hope you liked it. If you want to see other coins and you want me to analyze them, write this in the comments below. I will take a look at them, I will analyze them, and I will put them out in the next video. So bye bye.